Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Anupma Biology Classes. In this video, our topic is respiratory quotient, that is RQ. This video is taken from Plant Physiology series, CBSE class 11th, part 5th of chapter 15. Now, let's see here the lecture overview. So in this video, we will see balance sheet of ATP, compensation point, amphibolic pathway, respiratory quotient and significance of RQ, that means respiratory quotient. So let's start the topic, in which our first topic is balance sheet of ATP. So we have already learned that complete aerobic breakdown of one molecule of hexose, that means sugar, glucose, results in the release of two molecules of NADH from glycolysis and 8 molecules of NADH and 2 molecules of FADH2 within the mitochondrial matrix from the Krebs cycle. So each glycolytic NADH plus H plus yields 2 ATP molecules when oxidized by electron transport system. Thus, the two molecules of NADH plus H plus of the glycolysis yields 4 ATP molecules. The glycolysis also yields 4 ATP molecules by transphosphorylation, out of which 2 ATP are consumed. Thus, the glycolysis contributes a total of 2 plus 4. It means 6 ATP molecules. So in case of energy from glycolysis, see here, this is the in anaerobic glycolysis 2 ATP from one glucose molecule. In aerobic glycolysis 2 ATP and 2 NADH, which means 2 into 3, it means 6 ATP molecules. The Krebs cycle yields 2 molecules of ATP by transphosphorylation when 2 molecules of succinyl coenzyme A get transformed into 2 molecules of succinic acid. Besides, the Krebs cycle releases 8 molecules of NADH and 2 molecules of FADH2. Each NADH plus H plus of the Krebs cycle yields 3 ATP molecules by the oxidative phosphorylation. Thus, 8 NADH plus H plus molecules produce 8 into 3, it means 24 ATP molecules. Similarly, each FADH2 yields 2 ATP molecules by oxidative phosphorylation. Thus, the 2 FADH2 results in the production of 4 ATP molecules. The total contribution of Krebs cycle is therefore 2 plus 24 plus 4. It means 30 ATP molecules. The net effect of the complete breakdown of one hexose molecule by the aerobic respiration in plants is therefore release of 36 ATP molecules. So, the results products of the Krebs cycle are 2 ATP, 8 NADH, 2 FADH2 and 6 molecules of CO2. Now, see here, the balance sheet of the ATP which is produced in the breakdown of one molecule of glucose is given in the table below. Here the total gain of ATP molecule produced by the oxidative breakdown of glucose is 6 plus 30, it means 36. So see here, in case of glycolysis, in conversion of glucose to glucose 6-phosphate, here 1 ATP consumed, while in conversion of fructose 6-phosphate to fructose 1,6-bisphosphate, here also 1 ATP consumed. After that, in the conversion of 1,3-bisphosphoglyceraldehyde to 1,3-bisphosphoglyceraldehyde, here 4 a release of ATP molecules. And conversion of 1,3-bisphosphoglyceric acid to 3-phosphoglyceric acid, here also 2 release of ATP molecules. And 2-phosphoenol pyruvic acid to pyruvic acid, here also 2 ATP molecule release. So total release of ATP molecules are 8, consumption are 2 molecules, so the net gain of ATP molecules are 6 in the complete glycolysis. After this, see here the stages of the Krebs cycle. So first is the oxidative decarboxylation. Here the pyruvic acid is converted to acetyl coenzyme. Here the 6 release of ATP molecule. After that, conversion of isocitric to oxaloacetic succinic acid. Here also 6 molecule release. Then alpha ketogluteric acid to succinyl coenzyme A. Here also 6 release of ATP molecules. Then In conversion of succinyl coenzyme A to succinic acid, here the two release of ATP molecules. Then succinic acid to fumaric acid, here 4 molecules of ATP release. Then the last is malic acid to oxaloacetic acid, here also 6 molecules of ATP release. So the total release of ATP molecules are 30 and ATP consumed are 0. So the net gain of ATP is 30. So the grand total released of ATP is 38. It means from Krebs cycle 30 and the 8 from the glycolysis. And the total ATP consumption is 2. It means in the glycolysis cycle. So the overall production of ATP is 36. So this is the balance sheet of ATP in the Krebs cycle and glycolysis. Now, see here, this is the typical energy yield, that means 36 ATP formation from the glycolysis and the Krebs cycle completely. So here the net products gained during the aerobic respiration per glucose molecules are 36 ATPs, reduced FAD is 4 ATPs, reduced NAD is 28 ATPs and ATP is 4 ATP. So carbon dioxide 6, ATP 4, reduced NAD 28, reduced FAD 4 and the total ATP production are 36 ATPs. Now the balancing water and oxygen. So 1 molecule of glucose products 2 molecule of triphosphates, that is 3-phosphoglyceraldehyde. So there are at 6 oxidative steps for the further aerobic breakdown of triose phosphate, in which the first one is oxidation of 1,3-bis phosphoglyceraldehyde. Second is oxidation of pyruvic acid to acetyl coenzyme A. Third is oxidation of isocitric acid. Fourth is oxidation of alpha-ketogluteric acid. Fifth is oxidation of succinic acid and the last is oxidation of malic acid. So the glucose molecules therefore involves 6 into 2, that means 12 oxidative steps, and each oxidative step donates a pair of hydrogen ion and a pair of electron which is accepted by the coenzyme NAD or FAD. The reduced NAD or FAD transfer their electron and protons to the molecular oxygen through the respiratory chain. Each coenzyme donates a pair of hydrogen to half molecule of oxygen and forms H2O, which you can see in this reaction. So therefore 12 reduced coenzymes will combine with the 6 carbon oxygen to produce 12 molecules of water. The complete breakdown of glucose thus requires 6 oxygen and else 12 molecules of water in the respiratory chain. However, 2 molecules of water are released directly in the reaction when 2 molecules of 2-phosphoglyceric acids are converted to 2-phosphoenol pyruvic acid in glycolysis. Thus, the aerobic breakdown of single glucose molecule yields a total of 12 plus 2 equal, it means 14 H2O molecules. Out of 14 H2O molecules, 8 of them are consumed directly in the reactions, like 2 molecules of H2O are used in the form of H3PO4 during the conversion of 2 molecules of 3-phosphoglyceraldehyde to 1,3-bis phosphoglyceraldehyde. 2 molecules of water are consumed in the condensation of 2-acetyl coenzyme A with 2 molecules of oxaloacetic acid to form 2 molecules of citric acid. 2 molecules of H2 are consumed in the form of H3PO4 when 2 molecules of succinyl coenzyme A combine with 2 molecules of GDP to form 2 molecules of succinic acid, releasing 2 molecules of GTP and coenzyme A. 2 molecules of water are used up during the conversion of 2 molecules of fumaric acid to form 2 molecules of malic acid. Thus, 8 molecules of H2O are consumed and 14 molecules are released during the oxidative breakdown of single glucose molecule. So if you talk about the balancing carbon dioxide, 6 molecules of carbon dioxide are released in the steps like formation of acetyl coenzyme A. Here 2 molecules of carbon dioxide released. In the process of decarboxylation of oxalosuccinic acid, 2 molecules of release. And in oxidative decarboxylation of alpha-ketogluteric acid, also 2 molecule release. So total 6 molecule of carbon dioxide released in the complete process. Thus, the overall equation for the aerobic respiration of glucose can be modified and rewritten as follows. This is all about the balancing carbon dioxide. That means 6 molecules of carbon dioxide released in which steps. Now, C6H12O6 plus 6O2 plus 8H2O forms 6CO2 plus 14H2O. However, even this equation is not completely satisfactory as it does not clearly indicate phosphate transfers. We now clearly know that energy released in respiration is not in the form of free energy, but a total of 36 ATP molecules are formed for the breakdown of each glucose. Therefore, the overall equation may be written as here C6H12O6 plus 6O2 plus 8H2O plus 36 ADP plus H3PO4 which forms 6CO2 plus 14H2O plus 36 ATP. So this is all about the balance sheet. That means balancing of water, balancing of carbon dioxide, balance of oxygen, balance of production of ATPs in the total cycle. Now, after this, what is compensation point? Compensation point is the point reached in a plant when the rate of photosynthesis is equal to the rate of respiration. This means that the carbon dioxide released from the respiration is equivalent to that which is taken up during the photosynthesis. The compensation point is reached as light intensity increases. If the light intensity increases beyond the compensation point, the rate of photosynthesis increases proportionally until the point of light saturation is reached, beyond which the rate of photosynthesis is no longer affected by the light intensity. Carbon dioxide intake in photosynthesis balanced with carbon dioxide release in respiration is equal to compensation point. So, carbon dioxide intake in photosynthesis balanced with the carbon dioxide release in respiration is compensation point. Now, amphibolic pathway. The organic substances like the carbohydrate, fats and proteins are broken down to release energy by the process of cellular respiration. This process is considered as a catabolism or a catabolic pathway. However, the breakdown of respiratory substrates provide carbon skeleton for the synthesis of a large number of other essential plant products such as polysaccharides, proteins, fats, nucleic acids, pigments, cytochromes, etc. Thus, the same respiratory process which acts as the catabolic pathway for the respiratory substrates also acts as anabolic pathway for the synthesis of various intermediary metabolic products and secondary metabolites. The respiratory pathway therefore acts both as catabolic as well as anabolic pathway. Thus, it is better to call it amphibolic pathway rather than as a catabolic pathway alone. So, in amphibolic pathway, before entering into respiration, carbohydrates are first converted into glucose. Other substrates can also be despite, but they do not enter into the pathway at first step. For example, fats need to be broken down into the glycerol and fatty acid first. Fatty acid needs to be broken down into acetyl coenzyme A, then they can enter into the pathway. Similarly, glycerol converted into phosphoglyceraldehyde and then they can enter into the pathway. In proteins, they are first broken down into amino acids and then into the pyruvic acid and enter into the respiratory pathway. Now, respiratory quotient. So, what is respiratory quotient? The respiratory quotient is defined as the ratio of carbon dioxide produced to oxygen consumed per unit time by an organism. So the volume of carbon dioxide evolved by the volume of oxygen absorbed is known as respiratory quotient. Oxygen uptake during respiration can be measured using a respirometer. RQ represent types of respiration. RQ is if less than 1, so aerobic respiration equal to 1, then aerobic respiration, and if more than 1 is anaerobic respiration. Low value of RQ indicates that aerobic respiration is being carried out. Plants absorb carbon dioxide to carry out photosynthesis and animals utilizes carbon element to manufacture calcareous cell. High value of RQ indicates that anaerobic respiration is being carried out. Conversion of carbohydrates into fats, example for hibernation, process of large quantity of the food for storage. So if we talk about the respiratory quotient in case of carbohydrate such as hexose sugar, this is glucose or fructose, sucrose or starch are respired in presence of oxygen, the volume of carbon dioxide evolved during the process is equal to the volume of oxygen absorbed. So thus the value of RQ is equal to the 1 or unity, as here you can show in this picture. In this 6 carbon dioxide molecules are produced and 6 oxygen molecules are consumed. So RQ for this reaction is 1. So for in case of the many leaves, rose petals, germinating seeds of cereal grains such as wheat, potato, tubers, etc. So their RQ value more nearly equal to unity. The germinating seeds of all those plants which contain starch as the main reserve food also exhibit RQ equal to unity. In case of fat, fat are the respiratory substance as in case during germination of fatty seeds like the groundnut, mustard, flax, castor, etc. The fats are hydrolyzed to glycerol and fatty acid. The complete oxidation of glycerol results in the RQ of 0.86. Or the fatty acids being poorer in oxygen require more oxygen for the complete oxidation as compared to carbon dioxide. Therefore, oxygen absorption is more and carbon dioxide liberation is less and RQ becomes less than unity. For example, here you can see that tripalmitin and here the RQ is you can see a 0.7. Now, if we talk about in case of proteins, as in case of fats, the protein also have RQ of less than unity. First of all, the proteins are hydrolyzed into amino acids. The hydrolytic products of the protein have lower proportions of the oxygen as compared to carbohydrate. They require more oxygen and evolve less carbon dioxide during their complete oxidation. Thus, the value of RQ becomes less than unity. Example, germinating seeds of the buckwheat, which RQ is 0.5. In case of organic acids, here you can see that in case of oxaloacetic acid, here the RQ is 4. In case of malic acid, here the RQ is 1.33. In case of succinic acid, RQ is 1.14 and the citric acid here the RQ is 1.33. So you can calculate the RQ of any respiratory substrates. In case of for anaerobic respiration, in case of yeast, here RQ is moles of carbon dioxide out by the molecules of carbon dioxide in. So here 2 by 0, it means infinity. However, because there is some anaerobic respiration, so some oxygen in the RQ will be high less than 2. So a high value for RQ will indicate some anaerobic respiration. So after this, see here the significance of RQ. The significance of determining RQ of plants is that it provides important information regarding the chemical nature of the respiratory substrates being respired. RQ less than unity indicates that respiratory substrate has low oxygen content such as fats and proteins. The substrates having more oxygen content such as organic acid show RQ more than unity. The carbohydrates which have carbon and oxygen in equal proportion generally show unity, that means 1 RQ. The carbohydrates which have carbon and oxygen you can show unity. So this is the end of video in which you knew about the balance sheet of ATP, compensation point, amphibolic pathway, respiratory quotient and the significance of the respiratory quotient. The next upcoming video will be on the plant growth and development. So if you understand this video, please like and share it and subscribe to my channel Anupma Biology Classes. If you have any questions, any queries or any suggestions, you can ask in the comment section below. Thank you for the watching.